Kate Lane sat quietly in her small Portland apartment, holding a faded college diploma that carried more pain than pride. At 32, she still remembered the day she graduated, a day that should have been filled with joy but instead pushed her to erase everything connected to her past. She whispered, 5 years ago should have been different. She kept staring at the diploma, tracing the edge with her thumb, feeling the weight of everything that went wrong. Her family hadn't called, hadn't texted, hadn't shown up. And deep in her heart, she knew the truth. It wasn't an accident. It was intentional. Before the quiet apartment and the new identity, Kate had grown up in Houston, Texas, in a family that never truly saw her. Tom Lane, her father, was strict and distant. Sarah, her mother, lived in her own world. Adam, the firstborn, took all the attention. And Lily, the youngest, received all the affection. In the middle stood Kate, the forgotten child. "You're fine, Kate," her mother often said without really looking at her. In that house, Adam was the star, Lily was the treasure, and Kate was simply there. A shadow in her own home, learning early that being invisible was normal. She became independent because nobody else stepped in. While other parents helped with homework, Kate figured out every problem alone at the kitchen table. When her classmates were driven to school, she walked in the cold or waited for the bus long before sunrise. She packed her own lunches, set her own alarms, and survived quietly. First she accepted it. But on her 10th birthday, reality shifted. She tiptoed downstairs expecting a smile or a soft, happy birthday. Instead, Sarah rushed around packing Adam's football gear, muttering, "We're running late." Nobody looked at Kate. Nobody remembered what day it was. Her father was already gone on another work trip. Lily was still asleep, unaware of anything happening around her. Kate stood by the counter silently, waiting for someone to remember. No one did. That afternoon, she baked her own cake from a chocolate box mix. She placed 10 candles on top, lit them one by one, and whispered, "Happy birthday" to me. She blew them out alone. Hours later, when Sarah finally noticed the cake, she said, "Oh, sweetheart, was that today?" Adam had a big game. Kate nodded quietly, pretending it didn't hurt even though it cut deep inside her. Adam's glory filled every corner of the house. Dinner conversations revolved around touchdowns, scouts, and weekend games. Kate tried many times to share parts of her day, but her voice drowned under her parents' excitement. She felt herself shrinking in her own home. One evening during sophomore year, she came home clutching a medal, first place in a statewide writing competition. She waited until everyone sat at the table. "I won," she said, hope in her voice. Sarah smiled briefly. "That's nice, dear. Adam, tell us about Friday's game." The medal grew heavier in Kate's hand, as if the silence itself scolded her. 2 weeks later, Kate stood on a stage shaking hands with the governor, receiving her medal in front of hundreds of people. She searched the audience with hopeful eyes, scanning every row for her family. She had told them the date. She had reminded them 3 different times. She had even written it on the kitchen calendar in bright blue marker. But the seats where her family should have been sat completely empty. When she walked through the front door that evening, she found Tom and Sarah laughing while watching Adam's recorded football game, played at the exact same time as her ceremony. Lily jumped up excitedly when Adam scored in the video. "You're amazing," she shouted. Tom didn't even glance at Kate when she entered. "Hey, how'd it go?" he asked casually, his eyes still glued to the screen. Kate swallowed the lump in her throat. "It was fine," she whispered. Nobody asked to see the medal. Nobody asked what her essay was about. Nobody cared that she had stood alone on that stage. Later in her room, Kate placed the medal gently in a box, closed the lid, and told herself a painful truth. If she wanted to be celebrated, she had to clap for herself. Lily, on the other hand, lived in a world built just for her. She had bright blonde hair and cheerful blue eyes, the kind that made adults adore her instantly. Sarah spent hours with her, shopping, painting nails, going to cafes, and planning little weekend trips. Kate watched them sometimes, hearing their laughter drifting through the halls like a reminder of what she never got. On Sunday mornings, Kate would walk downstairs to find Sarah and Lily flipping pancakes, dancing to music and taking silly photos. Kate poured herself a cup of coffee quietly. Neither of them said hello. She was invisible again. When Lily was 12, she wished out loud that she wanted to go to Disneyland. Within a month, Tom and Sarah booked the trip. Hotels, park passes, souvenirs, everything. She asked for a puppy. She got a golden retriever. She wanted the newest phone. It appeared the next day. Meanwhile, when Kate was 16, she gathered her courage to ask for a laptop for her programming class. $600. Tom frowned. We can't just spend money like that. Kate tried to explain. It's for school. I really need it. Sarah only said, we'll think about it. They never mentioned it again. A week later, Lily asked for an iPad so she could play games with her friends. It cost almost the same as the laptop Kate needed. She got it in 2 days. That was the moment Kate made a quiet vow. She would never ask them for anything again. By senior year, she had one goal: to earn a full scholarship and build a life far away from Houston. She woke up at 5 a.m. to study, stayed up past midnight doing homework, worked a part-time job, and joined every club she could. No one in the Lane house asked why she looked exhausted every day. Kate pushed herself harder than she ever had before. Her days became a strict routine. Wake at 5, study until 7, rush to school, join every club that strengthened her resume, then work at a small coffee shop until 9 at night. She returned home tired, ate leftovers quietly, and studied until 1 in the morning. No one noticed the dark circles under her eyes. No one asked if she needed help. She kept telling herself, when I win that scholarship, they'll finally see me. That hope kept her moving even when her body begged for rest she couldn't afford to take. In April of her senior year, Kate stood on the porch holding a thick envelope from the University of Washington. Her hands shook as she tore it open. Congratulations, she read breathlessly. Full academic scholarship. She screamed, actually screamed, running into the house waving the letter like a trophy. Tom sat in the living room watching TV. Sarah chopped vegetables in the kitchen. Adam lay on the couch texting. Lily played games on her phone. I got a full scholarship, Kate shouted. Sarah didn't even look up. That's nice, dear. Tom muttered. Washington is far. Why not stay local? Kate stood frozen, waiting for something, anything more. A hug. Smile. Oh, we're proud of you. But nothing came. Adam kept texting. Lily rolled her eyes and said, Can you please be quiet? Kate's excitement drained out of her like water slipping through fingers. That night, lying in bed, she felt the truth settle heavily on her chest. No achievement would ever be enough for them. Still, she told herself it didn't matter. She would go to Washington. She would work hard. She would build a life they couldn't ignore. She clung to that dream even though their silence hurt like a bruise. Moving to Seattle in August was one of the loneliest days of Kate's life. She loaded a rental car alone, drove 1,200 miles alone, and carried every box up 3 flights of dorm stairs alone. She thought about Adam's move to the University of Texas years earlier. How Tom rented a truck, how Sarah packed lunches for the trip, how the whole family made a road adventure out of it. When they dropped Adam off, Sarah cried and Tom hugged him proudly. For Kate, there was only one text from Sarah the morning she left. Drive safe. Text when you arrive. Kate arrived on a drizzly Seattle afternoon. The campus was beautiful, but she hardly noticed. Her mind echoed with what her family didn't say. She sat on her bare dorm mattress that first night, staring at her silent phone. She checked it every few minutes, hoping for a call that never came. Maybe tomorrow, she whispered, trying to comfort herself. But tomorrow came and went, and the silence stayed. For the next few weeks, she tried calling home, but every conversation felt rushed. How are you? That's nice. I'm busy, I'll call back, Sarah often said. She never actually called back. Tom wasn't any better. Whenever Kate called, he asked a few generic questions, then cut the conversation short with, All right, I have a meeting. Adam never answered. Lily picked up sometimes, but only to talk about herself. Guess what, Kate? I'm cheer captain now, she would say. Before Kate could reply, Lily would hang up because a friend was calling. After 2 months, Kate stopped dialing. It hurt less to stay silent than to hear their voices filled with disinterest. She realized she was out of sight and completely out of mind. The distance hadn't made them miss her. It had made it easier to forget her. Thanksgiving break arrived, and Kate went home hoping things had changed. She imagined her family greeting her at the door, asking about college, wanting to know how she was doing. Instead, she walked into the same routine she had grown up with. At dinner, Adam talked nonstop about football, his fraternity, and his new friends. Lily bragged about school gossip and her boyfriend. Tom and Sarah asked them endless questions, laughing and smiling like everything revolved around them. When Kate tried sharing something about her computer science project, Sarah cut her off. Adam, have you met any nice girls at school? Kate went silent. Christmas was no different. The gifts beneath the tree said everything without a single word spoken. Adam received a gaming laptop, expensive headphones, and new shoes. Lily opened jewelry, a new phone, and a shopping gift card. Kate opened a single envelope. Inside was a $50 Target gift card. Thanks, she whispered, forcing a smile. Tom nodded absent-mindedly. Sarah didn't even look up from helping Lily try on her bracelet. That night, Kate sat alone on the porch staring at the cold December sky. She realized she wasn't just overlooked. She wasn't considered at all. She was a ghost in her own family. The next year, Kate didn't go home for Thanksgiving. She texted Sarah, "I'll stay in Seattle. Lots of work to do." An hour later, Sarah replied, "Okay. No questions. No, we'll miss you. No concern." Kate spent the holiday in an empty dorm eating noodles and listening to the wind outside. Surprisingly, it hurt less than sitting at a table where she didn't exist. She poured herself into her studies instead. Her grades climbed. Her confidence grew. Slowly, she built friendships, real friendships, with people who listened when she spoke. People who asked how she was doing and genuinely cared about the answer. By junior year, Kate landed a competitive internship at a major tech company. She worked as a research assistant and impressed her professors. Her senior project was selected for a university showcase, an honor given to only a handful of students. She called Sarah one afternoon. "Mom, I got an internship." Sarah's voice brightened, but not for Kate. "Oh, that's nice, dear. You won't believe what happened. Lily is the youngest cheer captain in the whole school." Within seconds, the conversation shifted entirely to Lily. Kate sat silently on the phone, realizing her achievements would always be background noise in that family. After that phone call, Kate finally stopped expecting her family to notice her. She focused on building a life where she mattered. Her friends on campus became her support system. They invited her to study groups, asked for her advice, and celebrated her wins. For the first time, she felt seen. Still deep down, she wished her parents could see what others saw: a hard-working, talented young woman. When her senior year came, the university sent out graduation information. Families needed to RSVP for tickets. Kate stared at the packet, wondering if she should even bother inviting them. A small part of her still hoped. She wrote an email to her family with all the details: date, time, location, hotel options, her phone number, and a simple message at the end: "This is really important to me. Hope you can come." Tom replied first: "We'll try our best." Sarah followed later: "I'll check the calendar." Lily wrote: "Prom is that week. Not sure." Adam didn't respond at all. None of the replies were commitments. None said, "We'll be there." But Kate held on to hope. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they would confirm later. She clicked send on a hotel reservation she paid for herself. April and May passed quickly as Kate worked on her projects, but she didn't forget about graduation. Every week, she tried reminding her mother. "Don't forget June 15th, she would say. Sarah always replied, "I know, dear. We remember." Kate even sent calendar invites with automatic reminders. She texted Adam, "You're coming, right?" He responded, Yeah, chill." She bought a navy blue dress for the ceremony and imagined taking pictures with her family afterward. She imagined her father's smile, her mother's tears, and Lily hugging her. She imagined being seen just once. 2 weeks before graduation, Kate called Tom. "Did you book your flight yet?" His voice was casual. "No, prices are high right now." She offered to help pay, even though she didn't have much. "No, we'll handle it," he said. But something felt wrong. A week before graduation, she texted Sarah again. "Did you book the hotel?" Sarah replied hours later. "Been busy with Lily's prom." Kate sent her the confirmation she had already paid for. The message showed read. No response. The silence felt heavier than before, like a warning she didn't want to face. 5 days before graduation, Kate called Adam. No answer. She called Lily. "Kate, I'm busy." "I'll call you back," Lily said. He didn't. Kate sent a group text. "So excited to see you all Friday. Send your flight details so I can pick you up." No replies. Each hour that passed tightened the ache in her chest. 3 days before graduation, she called Sarah again. Sarah answered, sounding irritated. "We're figuring it out, Kate. Stop pressuring us." Then she hung up. Kate stared at the phone with shaking hands. She wanted to believe they'd still come. She forced herself to hope. The night before graduation, Kate couldn't sleep. She carefully ironed her gown and placed it on her desk. Her roommate left to have dinner with her family, who had flown in early to celebrate. The dorm hallways echoed with laughter and footsteps from excited parents. Kate checked her phone over and over. No new messages. She imagined her family surprising her in the morning, imagined flowers, hugs, and proud smiles. At midnight, she sent one final text to her family. "I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Means everything to me." The message was marked as read by Sarah and Tom. No response. She woke at 6, heart pounding with nervous hope. The first thing she did was grab her phone. Still no messages. She showered, did her makeup, and put on her dress. She looked at herself in the mirror, whispering, "Maybe they're already on the way." At 8:30, her roommate asked, "Do you need a ride? My parents can drop you." Kate smiled weakly. "No, my family's picking me up." It wasn't true, but she couldn't bear the humiliation. She waited in the dorm lobby, watching cars pull up as students ran into the arms of their waiting families. At 9, Kate called each family member again. Straight to voicemail. She texted, "Where are you? Ceremony starts in an hour." The message marked read. No reply. At 9:30, the truth hit her. They were not coming. Not even trying. Her chest tightened as she walked toward the pavilion alone. The campus buzzed with families taking photos, parents holding flowers, siblings holding "congratulations" signs. Kate walked through the crowd like a ghost. She found her assigned line and stood silently between 2 students chatting excitedly with their parents over the phone. She lowered her eyes, hiding the tears forming. Inside the pavilion, Kate looked toward the audience. She had reserved 6 seats for her family. Front section, perfect view. She paid extra for them. All 6 were empty. The student beside her, a guy named Chris, whispered, "Your family running late?" Kate forced a smile. "Yeah, traffic." When the university president began speaking about family support, Kate stared at her empty row. The president asked graduates to look toward their families and thank them. Kate looked anyway, even though she knew no one was there. Tears slipped down her cheeks, but she wiped them quickly, hoping no one noticed. Names were called one by one. Each time, families screamed, clapped, cheered, and took pictures. Kate listened as her classmates' names filled the room with joy. Then came hers. Kate Lane, computer science, magna cum laude. She walked across the stage, feeling her legs tremble. She shook hands with the dean, smiled for the photographer, and searched the crowd one last time. The seats were still empty. The applause was gentle, scattered, just polite claps from strangers. Kate walked back to her seat numb. Something inside her broke, quietly and completely, like a thread snapping in her chest. When the ceremony ended, The pavilion erupted with joy. Graduates ran into their parents' arms, families cried, cameras flashed everywhere. Kate stepped aside, clutching her diploma to her chest, feeling like she was standing in the middle of a celebration that didn't belong to her. Her friend Jenna found her. "Kate, come take a picture with my family." Kate shook her head softly. "I'm waiting for mine." Jenna paused, concern filling her eyes, but she didn't push. When she left, Kate walked to the steps outside, sat down, and dialed Sarah's number with trembling fingers. Sarah answered on the 5th ring. "Mom, you didn't come," Kate said, her voice barely holding together. Sarah sighed. "Honey, things came up." Kate's breath hitched. "What things?" Sarah sounded annoyed. "Lily had prom last night. We were exhausted this morning." Kate closed her eyes. "You could have still come," she whispered. Sarah replied sharply. "Don't be dramatic. It's just a graduation. You'll have plenty more accomplishments." Kate felt something heavy crack inside her. "I worked 4 years for this. Told you the date. I booked your hotel." Sarah snapped. "We didn't ask you to do that. And traveling is expensive. Adam has a big game soon." "So Adam's game next month is more important than my graduation today?" Kate asked quietly. Sarah replied with cold irritation. "It's about priorities, Kate. Football is his future. You're always so needy." Kate's voice finally broke. "When has anything ever been about me?" There was silence, then Sarah said, "Now you're being ungrateful. We raised you, fed you, gave you a home. I don't have time for this. Lily needs me, we're going shopping." Kate whispered, "Mom, please. I just needed you there." Sarah replied, "Congratulations on graduating," then hung up. The call ended with a hollow click that echoed in Kate's heart. Kate didn't know how long she sat on those steps. Long enough for the crowd to thin. Long enough for the sun to shift. Long enough for her tears to dry. Eventually, she stood and walked back to her empty dorm room, still wearing her gown. Strangers congratulated her on the way, but she could barely whisper, "Thank you." When she finally sat on her bed, she opened her laptop and checked her family's social media. Tom had posted a picture of Adam at practice with the caption, "Proud of my boy." Sarah had posted Lily in her prom dress. Not one mention of Kate. Kate stared at the screen, realizing the truth she'd been avoiding her entire life. It wasn't forgetfulness. It wasn't busyness. It wasn't misunderstanding. They simply did not care. She wondered quietly, if I disappeared, would they even notice? That night she researched everything. How to legally change your name, how to start over, how to cut off toxic family. She read stories from people who had done it and survived. Some even found peace. As dawn broke the next morning, she whispered to herself, "I'm done begging for love." She made a decision that would change everything. Kate Lane was going to disappear. Over the next month, she built a plan carefully and quietly. She already had a job offer in Portland starting in August. She filed paperwork to change her name. At her court hearing, the judge asked, "Why do you want a new name?" Kate took a breath. "For a fresh start." The judge stamped the approval. Kate Lane legally became Elena Reed. She walked out of the courthouse feeling lighter than she ever had. She updated her driver's license, her social security card, and her bank account. She requested a new diploma with her new name. Each step erased a piece of her past. Before leaving Seattle, she wrote her family one final email. She poured out years of hurt, every forgotten birthday, every ignored achievement, every moment they made her feel invisible. She told them she was leaving, changing her name, and starting a new life far away from all of them. She scheduled the email to send the morning she arrived in Portland. Then she packed up her dorm room, keeping only essentials, clothes, laptop, a few books, her diploma. She threw away anything tied to the Lanes. As she closed her final box, she whispered, "Goodbye, Kate. Goodbye, Houston. Goodbye to everything that hurt." Portland welcomed her with warm sunlight and quiet streets. Her new apartment was small, but the hardwood floors and big windows made it feel like hope. She slept on an air mattress the first night, eating takeout while watching people walk through the nearby park. "My name is Elena," she whispered to the empty room, testing the new identity. She started work the next week. Her co-workers were kind. They invited her out for coffee, included her in conversations, and remembered her name, something she wasn't used to. Slowly, she built a life filled with friendships, laughter, and the feeling she belonged. Months passed, and Elena flourished. She cut her hair short, bought brighter clothes, and finally felt free to take up space without apologizing. She joined a yoga class, learned guitar, and volunteered at an animal shelter. Friends invited her to dinners, concerts, and weekend hikes. She wasn't invisible anymore. She even started dating again. A gentle engineer named David who listened when she spoke and remembered the small things. One evening, while they watched the sunset, he asked, "Do you ever think about going back?" Elena shook her head. "I'm not going back to a place where I was never seen." 5 years later, Elena sat in her Portland apartment, no longer the girl who cried over empty chairs. She was confident, loved, and finally at peace. One day, she found her old graduation photo. Her forced smile, 6 empty seats behind her. She placed it beside a recent photo. Her MBA graduation, surrounded by friends and David's family who cheered loudly for her. 2 photos, 2 lives. Elena whispered, "I'm finally home." She realized something powerful. Disappearing from the people who never saw her wasn't losing a family. It was finding herself. And for the first time in her life, she felt truly seen.